thì trong đó có rất là nhiều cái cột để đựng các kiến thức. Đó, rất là cột gì đó. Cột thứ nhất là cột tình yêu, cột thứ hai là cột kinh doanh, cột thứ ba là cột
Okay, you need about 800 hours of listening. For you to learn English or for me to learn Vietnamese, you're going to need about 800 hours listening to the native speaker speaking. Okay, so I put on CNN and I go to sleep, I eat my meal, CNN. Am I learning anything? I have to be watching. I have to be watching and listening. About 800 hours, that's how long it will take. Okay, now today, you told me the story 3 times in Vietnamese, 1 time in English. Now I have some idea about the story. Can we take my video? Phong, this is your business. I'm going to help you make your first product. It's okay? I help you make your first product. It is for your first product. We're going to take Phong's story. One of the Vietnamese speakers, one of you, you're going to listen to Phong's story, type the same words on the paper. One good thing about learning Vietnamese or learning English is the same alphabet. Not exactly the same, but if you try to learn Thai or Cambodian, alphabet is very different. Chinese, very different. Okay, so one good thing, Vietnamese and English alphabet, we can use the same alphabet. So we can make a product. Phong, we can take Phong's story and type. And now, when you teach the foreigner, you can give him the video. He has 1 time Vietnamese, listening, watching. 2nd time Vietnamese, listening, watching. 3rd time English. 4th time Vietnamese. And he can read it. Then we can take this reading that we made from Phong, and can you make questions? Questions? Activity? You can make this story can become your a whole book. You can make a whole book about learning Vietnamese just with this one story. What do you think about that?
You can see.
Sure.
I have a question. But now we are students. We learn a lot of knowledge about such as finance and banking. We have to read the English book, such as now we have to study the fundamental of financial management.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to read.
Yes.
It's very because it's a lot of the major vocabulary.
And you have to read in English, yeah.
Yes.
But your teachers are Vietnamese.
We are learn in Vietnam, but
okay.
It is not book. It is not book exists.
Yeah.
In Vietnam.
Okay.
So we have to learn. We have to learn by English book.
Yes.
That is very difficult for us to read them,
okay.
to read them and to understand them. Can you suggest for me some method to read the book?
Yeah.
With a major.
Okay. I know Phong wants to start a business. You want to start a business. You want to start a business. Okay. In Vietnam, business management is a very popular study. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, why don't we make the first book, we'll translate the book into Vietnamese language. And translate your management book, the English management book, translate into Vietnamese language. So Vietnamese students can read it and understand. Also, if you work to translate that book, your knowledge will fall a lot. When you start translating. Because one disadvantage of core novel, when you guys are learning your business management, it's the same way I learned core novel method. It means you're reading the book in English and you're understanding some. You're not understanding everything. When you start to translate, you will realize many things you don't understand, but you will learn. So one, we can translate the book into Vietnamese. That's a good product for you, for your business, to sell in Vietnam. And number 2, for your own knowledge. You will be the expert. You will be the expert in Vietnam about management. Number 2, we can make video. I can do the lecture in English. Management, business management, lecture in English, and we can make the video the same that we did today. Okay, we told a culture story, or we could tell management lesson, management story, management technique. We can talk about that same way and make the video in English and in Vietnamese.
But I have heard some people say that you should read the English book first, and then you should learn from the Vietnamese book. Is that a good idea?
It depends. If you want to learn English, if your goal is I want to learn English, read the English first, then the Vietnamese, and then back to English. If you want to learn management, read the Vietnamese first, then read the English. So you have to decide what you're learning. On that day, what do I want to learn? Do I want to learn English or I want to learn management?
When you study when I study a difficult subject, can I use the dictionary?
If you are studying the subject, yes. If you want to learn the subject, yes, you might need to use the dictionary. Yes. Yeah. 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 That's the one thing. Remember, when I learned like this story, I like to hear this story. I like to learn this story. I like to learn Vietnamese language. I don't have to pass a test. No test, no pressure. It's okay. But you're learning management, and you have to pass management exam, right? So you need to make sure you learn your management. And the best way, learn in Vietnamese first, because it's very quick. When you read one page of Vietnamese, how much time do you need?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, maybe slow person needs 2 minutes. Okay, well you read one page of English, how much time do you need?
2 hours.
Yeah, some serious. I had the same. I studied accounting and finance and management in Costa Rica. And yeah, my textbook is all in Spanish. And Spanish is very easy for us. English native Spanish is very easy, and I've spoken Spanish since I was a child, my whole life. Well, I still need maybe 20-25 minutes to read one page. But in English, the same page, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So you can read the Vietnamese one Saturday, you just read the whole Vietnamese book, and then you can study slowly the English book, like that. Any questions before we go to eat something? Any questions? Okay, how can you, now many of you, you're working part-time job now, right? Teaching me. But I hope you have more customers. But when you're teaching Vietnamese now, the fastest way to learn language, the fastest way is traditional learning. Book, teacher, notes, memorize. It's the fastest. It is not the best. It is the fastest. The best is this, because you're learning real language. The language in my book, I'm asking my teachers, language in my book, is that exactly how Vietnamese people talk, really? It's not natural, it's not real, it's in a book. This is real because you are just talking and talking, especially second person and third person and fourth person. When you came, you were just talking. Just talking, normal. Talking to the other Vietnamese. That's natural language. That's the best way to learn.
I see your best way, but in Vietnamese countries, we don't have chance to meet some foreign people. But when we want to visit to the foreign people, we have go to the center such as Apollo's, Language, you know? Yes, and it is very expensive for us. But we are a student.
Cannot afford. I know, I understand.